Now, it's not as if there aren't lawyers on the other side, Trudie, and the film captures very well the dispute between the two sides. The Chevron lawyers say they did nothing wrong, they used all the usual drilling methods, and so on. How convincing were their arguments, in your view? I mean,
I'm an ambassador for UNICEF, and my participation in this whole thing is to bring humanitarian aid to the people. What I can tell you is this, is that, each time that I've been to Ecuador and what I've seen vis-a-vis the Goldman Prize, and when Pablo won the CNN Hero Award, how, Chevron were bullying CNN to take down Pablo's website because they were so offended and because they're investors in CNN. So sort of like bullying, diverting, smoke and mirrors.
Bullying CNN because their investors are investors in CNN.
Yeah. So you see, this is what I've been seeing in the last couple of years.
They say it's not them, it's Petroecuador, the oil company that preceded them.
It's a very complicated case with lots of arguments on either side, and in fact the film tries not to take an overt position in the lawsuit, because for me there's a much deeper issue here. I'm not smart enough I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not smart enough to tell you whether Chevron has wrapped itself up in enough legal technicalities, enough legal arguments. So from a purely legal technical standpoint, I can't tell you who's going to win the lawsuit. But clearly the moral responsibility lay at their door. I mean, you don't go into people's backyard and poison the water, even if it's legal.
Here's another clip between an exchange between Pablo, the lawyer that we've talked about representing the plaintiffs, and one of the Chevron lawyers. Take a look.
Iniciamos con la intervención del señor doctor Adolfo Callejas.
Muchas gracias, señor presidente. Aquí observaremos, señor presidente, algo que es común en toda operación y que sin embargo ha sido satanizado por los demandantes. Las estaciones de producción son necesarias, indispensables, y es la tecnología que se ha usado y se usa aún actualmente en todas las actividades de producción de petróleo crudo en el mundo.
Dando la palabra al señor doctor Pablo Fajardo, parte de los actores.
Pretenden engañar a la opinión pública, al juzgador y a todos quienes estamos en la diligencia judicial, haciendo creer que era la práctica como se operaba en el mundo entero. Eso es totalmente mentira, señor presidente. Más de 1.000 millones de galones de agua tóxica, de agua venenosa, fueron arrojadas a los esteros, a los ríos y pantanos del sector. Y lo que la gente exige es la remediación absoluta de todo el área contaminada de Texaco.
You insert your cameras, as you do in your work, right into the scene. You're right there watching it all play out. But you and your crew had your experiences too along the way.
Oh, I mean, this was a very difficult film to make. I've filmed all over the world in many situations, but this was a difficult shoot on many levels. First of all, it's 120-degree equatorial heat. You're right at the equator. You're standing over these vast petroleum pits holding equipment, and the noxious fumes really, by the end of the day you have a splitting headache and your eyes are watery. We were a few miles from where the FARC guerrillas are very active. The Colombian border was right, a couple of miles away, and so you're worried about that. But I think the worst part of it was just hearing story after story of cancer, talking to mothers who know that they have to give their children poisonous water because they have no other choice.
But what I love here is the way that you balance both the sort of terrible stories of victimization with the powerful fight back and the smart fight back of the legal team representing these plaintiffs. You say that the message of the film is clearly that there are many players in this situation, not just the plaintiffs and the companies, but in a broader way, all of us. Can you talk to that, Trudie, like the way that we're all kind of implicated and what we can do?
We are all, it's a very big topic, but we're all implicated in that the way that we run our countries. We measure economic growth with GDP. So what do we value? we overvalue stuff that, you know, is on a daily basis filling our landfills and crippling the planet, and we undervalue the very lungs of the earth that breathes life into us all. And we're reaching, I don't want to be alarmist, but I've spoken to enough scientists to convince me that we are reaching a tipping point in which we will soon no longer be able to sustain life, let alone, you know, what kind of planet are we leaving to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren? What is our legacy?
Where does this lawsuit stand now, Joe, and what's at stake for the people, money-wise and otherwise?
Well, the plaintiffs are expecting a positive judgment of in the neighborhood $27 billion. Chevron has gone on a PR offensive preparing for that, claiming that the process has become politicized and that the process that they asked to be in Ecuador, that's why the trial is taking place in Ecuador. They fought for 9 years to move it there because they felt that the Ecuadorian courts were transparent, efficient, and this was the best place to do the lawsuit. Now they're saying the process has become politicized and unfair.
Is there anything we can do, Trudie, quickly?
Well, I'm doing this water project to bring much needed, fresh, clean and safe water to 30,000 people, and we're a year into that project. It's going very well. We've got around to getting 11,000 people better water. There's quite a bit to go. Dollars are needed, and each tank costs around $500. So,
all right, good final note there. We'll put the links up to your organization, and more information about the film is at our website. Here's one more clip. You're watching Crude.
El agua toda es contaminada. El aire contaminado. Por eso no puedo traer a mi hija para tenerlo aquí, junto a nuestra familia. Lamentablemente, para mí es bastante triste. Primeramente, fue el problema conmigo. Ahora es con mi hija, que tan guambra es mi hija, y que tenga esa enfermedad como es el cáncer. Nosotros que somos unas personas que no tenemos de dónde para seguir el tratamiento de nuestra hija. Mi hija tiene 18 años. Dese cuenta, para cada terapia que yo tengo, cada cita que mi hija tiene, yo tengo que tener $500 para la enfermedad de ella. ¿Y de dónde voy a sacar $500 para cada 15 días, cada 20 días que me dan la cita para ella? Igual aquí yo compré los pollos, como le digo, yo dije quizás para que se críen y nosotros tener con qué seguir el tratamiento de mi hija. Ahora ya no tenemos nada porque todo se acaba de morir. Todo es una sola mortandad de animales, ya le digo, con la contaminación, porque se van abajo al estero, se toman el agua. Y eso se toman y ahí se mueren. Y no, uno no puede hacer nada aquí, ya le digo. No hay vida ni para los mismos animales, peor para nosotros humanos. Así mismo estaba nuestra hija también, que solamente es hueso de verle a ella, que sí que es triste de ver a mi hija.